Hey guys, this is Angelo, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I think is really important to understand, because most people, they just believe that it's all about the law of thermodynamics, which basically state that calories in minus calorie out is basically makes a difference in whether you're gonna gain fat or you're gonna lose fat. So basically, if you spend more calories than you take in, then you're gonna lose fat. And basically, most doctors and they just advise their overweight patients to just eat less and exercise more if they have weight to lose. The truth is, it's not that easy. It's not just about calories, because different nutrients have different effects on your body and your hormones. And the way that most doctors and dietitians approach this issue of obesity and being overweight is just by telling people that they need to exercise more and eat less. And by doing that, you're basically telling overweight people that it's your fault and you just need to regulate your hunger better and you need to eat in moderation, as if they haven't tried that before. And we can see this law of thermodynamics, basically, which was over the last 50 years, it has been used over and over and over, and we can all see that if you look around you, more and more people are overweight and are fighting with diabetes and obesity. The right question to ask is not, do calories matter or how many calories should I eat, but rather, what is going to happen to the calories that I take in? So basically, do the calories that I take in affect me in a way that I'm going to store fat or am I going to burn fat? That's the one thing that actually matters. The thing is, carbohydrates cause the biggest spike in insulin, which causes your body to store fat. And by basically keeping insulin high through eating carbohydrates all day long, you're hindering your body's ability to use your stored fats as energy source. There was even a recent study in Israel where they did an experiment on 100 overweight police officers, and they split them up in two groups, and the one group they were all eating the same calories, so they reduced their calories slightly, and they all gave them the same amount of calories to eat, and they were eating exactly the same. The only difference being that the one group was eating carbs throughout the whole day, spread over all their meals, and the other group ate 80% of their carbs only in the evening for dinner. And if we go by the law of thermodynamics, we would say, okay, the results are going to be the same because they ate exactly the same. They ate the same amount of calories, so therefore it should be exactly the same. So you just ignore all the effects of all your hormones and everything else that goes on in the morning or in the evening, all the differences. However, the actual result was that the group that ate all the carbs, most of their carbs in the evening, and basically ate low carb throughout the day, lost way more body fat and had much better health markers at the end of the study, at the end of the 6-month study. So that already goes to show you that it's not all about calories in and minus calories out, all right? And another thing is that whatever you eat also influences the amount of calories that you're burning. So it's not all about moving and reducing calories, but actually the food that you're eating makes a difference in how much energy you're burning by not changing anything. You're not exercising anymore, just the food makes a difference. And David Ludwig, a professor at Harvard Medical School, showed this in a study that he did a couple of years ago, where they split 21 participants up into 3 random groups. And they did first they did a 12-week run-in phase where they just did the same diet and they reduced calories by 10 to 15%. And then afterwards, they randomly split them up into 3 groups. And the first group was the standard, low-fat, high-carb diet. The second group was a low GI diet with a low glycemic index, where they just replaced the carbs with better carb sources like sweet potatoes and stuff like that. And the third group was a low-carb, high-fat diet. So basically they reduced calories for all 3 diets, but the calories were exactly the same that they were eating. They were just eating a different composition of their diet. And what they realized was that in the low-fat, high-carb diet, in a typical diet, also their energy expenditure went down significantly during the study. And in the low GI diet, their energy expenditure went down slightly bit less. So it was a little bit better. They were burning more energy. And then when we look at the low carb, high fat diet, their energy expenditure was the highest. There was basically a 300 calorie difference between the low carb, high fat diet and the low fat, high carb diet, which is basically like 1 hour of exercising per day. All right. So just by eating low carb, high fat, those people were burning 300 calories more per day. Okay. So it's not all about just calories you eat and that's it. All right. I've also left you a link where you can see 23 studies that have been done over the last few years that clearly show you that a low carb, high fat diet is way more effective for weight loss than the typical low carb, low fat, high carb, calorie restricted diet. And there you will see that whenever they compare these diets, most of the time the low carb the people in the low carb, high fat diet, they lost significantly more weight, sometimes even 2 to 3 times as much as in the other diets, and their blood markers improved dramatically as well. Not only that, but in the low carb, high fat groups, they were usually allowed to eat until they were full without restricting calories, and in the low fat, high carb diets, they were restricting your calories even. And still, the people on the low carb, high fat diets lost more weight, significantly more weight. And then there's another thing. Most people think, oh yeah, low carb, high fat is so hard to stick to, right? Compared to the typical recommendation. The thing is, also when they looked at these studies and they compared these 23 studies, actually more people stuck to the low carb, high fat diet than the low fat, high carb diet with calorie restriction. Part of the reason is probably because they were feeling satisfied and they didn't have to look after what they were eating most of the time compared to the other diet. But this should show you clearly that it's not true that it's harder to stick to. It's actually much easier. So basically all the evidence I've seen so far is clearly showing that a low carb diet is way better for weight loss compared to the typical low fat one where they restrict calories. It's also way more sustainable. And your focus should not be on your calories, on the calories that you consume. It should be on what are those calories doing to you? What is the source of those calories? Therefore, don't restrict calories, but restrict carbohydrates, because they are the reason why you get fat or why you got fat. And reducing those is going to help you to lose fat. It's going to help you to do it the fastest. All right? So, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want me to do more videos like this, leave me a like. And if you love the video, subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.